James, Mel, and these wines are next from the producer El Conte Prandone. Now I have 5 reds and 1 white wine. I'll give you my thoughts and perspectives on this producer from the Marche. Stay tuned. I love these wines. I'm going to put these off stage because there's quite a number of them, and so I'll talk about these obviously one by one, but I'm very excited about this. I was in the region, I actually passed through Marche. I didn't get to stop, unfortunately, in June of this year, but at some point I hope to really spend more time in this region and taste wines from the producers on ground. So here we go. The first wine I'll be reviewing is the Offida Pecorino DOCG wine. Now this wine is called Navicchio. This is the Offida Pecorino DOCG 22 vintage, 100% Pecorino. Back label for you to look at here, 13% ABV. Love Pecorino. And by the way, this is the first time, and it's always exciting with Italy, is I'm always tasting a brand new DOC or DOCG. And one I think I've tasted most of them, I haven't. I'm about 45% of the way through. Now, when I think of this producer, El Conte Prandone, I'll show you a map right here where they're located. They're right on the border of Abruzzo and Marche. So there are 2 grapes that are really well known in this region. That's a Pecorino as well as a Montepulciano. So you'll see that in both the Marche and the Abruzzo. And so it's a lovely expression here. I believe Navicchio is a hill on the estate. So this is cellared for 1 year stainless steel production. And I think it's a really magnificent nose on this wine. Beautiful characterization of grapefruit skin, coastal lemon, white flowers, and moistened stones. Next is the palate characterization. Bright acidity to this wine. I love the minerality that's very expressive, both on the initial experience of this wine as well as the finish. I love the character of both gold and orange citrus zest and skin, crushed oyster shells, and a white floral notation, and a hint of almond. This wine is 94 points out of 100 points. And next will be the Donello wine. Now this is a Marche Sangiovese IGT wine called Donello, a 21 vintage. Now back label for you to review, 100% Sangiovese, 13.5% ABV, 50,000 bottles produced per year, 15 days of maceration, meaning this is a really nice, beautiful, deep violet colorization, slightly vitreous, and identifiable for me, at least, as a Sangiovese wine. Here we go. Let's talk about the nose on this. Bright and fresh wine, red and black bramble notation, as well as spice, dried herbs, and violets. And next, the palate characterization. Lively and lovely acidity, identifiable as a Sangiovese wine. And of course, the key note here is a Merlot cherry, which to me is that telltale sign of Sangiovese. I love the lively and lovely acidity to this wine. Merlot cherry tells me this is a Sangiovese wine. And on this, I'm getting a character of red tea notes, bay leaf, as well as pepper, clove, and violets. This wine is 93 points out of 100 points. This wine is next called Le Kont. This is a Marche Rosso IGT wine, 2020 vintage, 14.5% ABV. This is 100% Montepulciano, spends 15 months in barrique, 15 months in concrete, a 5,000 bottle production from 30-year-old vines. And love the intense ruby color, but I also love Montepulciano. I think it's such a wine grape that's lovely in terms of food-friendly wine, a very expressive wine. I love the mouth-watering capabilities of this wine just from smelling it. It is completely appreciable and delightful, delicious. So very nice, intense ruby colorization to this wine. And on this, I'm getting a character of red cherry, blackberry notes, espresso, clove, and violets. Next is a palate characterization. Tannins are delightful on this wine, completely silken, gorgeous character, texture to this wine. And I just love the acidity. It's very vibrant and a very alive wine, very fresh wine. Character of forest fruit, as well as red tea, spice note, bay leaf, and clove. This wine is 94 points out of 100 points. This is called Prandone. This is a Marche Merlot. This is a 2020 vintage, 14.5% ABV. This is 100% Merlot. And you're going to find in this region, you're going to find international varieties, including Merlot, which you're going to find obviously here, but many other regions of Italia as well. So this is named in terms of that specific locality, founded in the 9th century. Again, 100% Merlot, and I think it's just a superb crafting, vinification of this wine. I love the international varieties that do come to the United States from Italia because I think they offer something different. They're not a New World expression whatsoever. I'm getting a character of cassis, as well as red bramble, spices, and just an overall freshness to this wine that's very, very compelling in red floral notation. Next is the palate characterization. I like the overall structure to this wine. The tannins are quite compelling, as well as a very bright acidity. So on this, I'm getting a character of both red and black forest fruit notes, spice notation, white pepper, dark chocolate, violets, allspice. This wine is 94 points out of 100 points. This wine is the Il Conte Ville Prandone. This is a Marinus 2020 vintage. This is a Piceno Superiore DOCG wine. This is 70% Molto Piceno, 30% Sangiovese, a 14% ABV wine. Here we go with this wine. First of all, I love the partnership of obviously Molto Piceno and Sangiovese, and that's obviously a DOC requirement. 70% I believe is the minimum, and so it's a fantastic harmonious blend. It's a great partnership of this wine, and I think it's really nicely balanced and beautiful bright wine. The nose is presenting with tart red cherry, morello cherry, as well as brambleberry spice and bay leaf. And next, the palate characterization. Nice velvety tannins on this wine, going to pair extremely well with food. I want to enjoy this wine with cedar plank salmon, pizza margherita, and to enjoy it on its own. I like the character on this wine of red and black forest fruit, as well as a spice core, pepper, clove, and additional on this I would include bay leaf and tarragon, dried herbs and violets. This wine is 94 points out of 100 points. This is called Zipolo 2020 vintage. Now this wine is a Marche Rosso IGT wine. I like the very beautiful artwork of vines on the front label. Here's a back label for you to look at here. You're going to find Molto Piceno is well known in this region, and Abruzzo as well. This has the partnership of Sangiovese and an international partner of Merlot. What I think is exquisite on this wine is the balance and structure to this wine. And so it definitely has a harmonious characterization in terms of Molto Piceno, giving a nice, beautiful red fruited and sometimes a black fruited notation. But on this, I think it's a really nice representation of the region itself. I think this is a fantastic wine for food, and really gorgeous, beautiful beef dishes, pork dishes, and you can even do, I would say, salmon dishes with this as well, and vegetarian red sauce dishes. Well, the color on this is fantastic. It's a mid to even a darker violet colorization, garnet color. Red fruited notes are coming through, so red raspberry, red cherry notes, as well as oregano, spices, and red tea notes. And I think it's a really amazingly beautiful, fresh character to this wine as well. Next is a palate characterization. So balance is one of the key characters to this wine here. And balance comes in terms of, say, the acidity is completely appreciable, the tannins are silken, and I think the overall structure of this wine, I think is just so beautifully done. So a very nice, harmonious acidity, as well as beautiful silken tannins. The overall structure, I think, is beautifully balanced, gorgeously balanced. This wine is giving a character of forest fruit notes, as well as dried herbs and spices on the core, and a violet notation. This wine is 94 points out of 100 points. So thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Salute!